Okay. All right. Hey Ryan, how's it going today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Doing pretty well. Happy it's Friday and pretty Michigan winter Friday. So enjoying the snow today.
Yeah,
Uh,
it seemed like winter took a little bit to get here, but now that it's here, it's cold.
yeah, really cold. And it's good to see the snow though too. Yeah, well, thanks for jumping on my peak interview series on professionals um, showing excellence and kindness in their careers. And then you're my second interview. So, how many podcasts have
Awesome.
you had? Are you on 106 podcasts?
Uh, yeah, I believe this week is going to be 107, and we just did our for something that we kind of started on a whim. We celebrated our second year anniversary last week. So I know it's two dudes on a podcast and very romantically sharing our anniversary on Valentine's Day. So.
Hey, there you go. I'll let it rest there. Like, I won't say anything about that. Okay, but thanks for joining me on the Peak Interview series.
It's
And
my
then
pleasure.
yeah, and then like you've already demonstrated kindness since we've met. Connected that you've helped me with my business a little bit, and then just we've had some good conversations with insurance and then podcasts. So kind of want to touch on that a little bit today, and we'll kind of get going with the questions. Number one, like kind of like if you want to talk about your insurance company, what company you represent, and then what is your insurance show that you try to help out the public and kind of break down the policies, things like that.
Sure. First of all, I work for an independent insurance agency, and for those that don't know what that is I'm basically a broker where I work with multiple different companies. But the agency that I work for is Kemner Hyatt Benz. We have an agency in Cassopolis, one in Adrian, one in Howell, and one in Ann Arbor, and I work out of the Cassopolis office. I've been with them going on 6 years now, a little over 5, and what as far as I do a weekly Tuesdays with Turbo show on I stream it live on Facebook, and my goal for that stream is to educate folks, um, because insurance is kind of like documents that a lawyer would kind of decipher for you. And what I found is a lot of folks don't know what they're buying. They have no idea what the terms mean, the coverages mean, what exactly everything is covered by certain policies. So I said, my goal is to set out to bring value to folks and let them know A, what they're buying, and B, kind of break down what the different terms mean, so that they're a little bit more comfortable with insurance. And insurance is boring, so I try to bring value and at least make it a little bit more fun.
Awesome. Okay. And
Mhm.
we'll try to put the link to that on this interview as well, so people
Sure.
can find you there and kind of check out that podcast. Okay. And then what's the frequency of that podcast? Is it like once a month or like once a week, or did you say on?
That sh- yeah, that show is 10 a.m. on Tuesdays every week.
Okay, that's what I
Tuesdays
thought.
with Turbo. Yep.
Okay, 10. Okay, that's what I thought you initially said. Okay, got it. Okay, awesome. Okay. Did you want to touch on any more about that, or do you want to roll into your podcast?
Well, I've gotten a lot of, and this goes back to one of my mentors that helped me basically triple my business and just going live, and people connect with people they know, like, and trust, and bringing I mean, we can drive around, we can watch TV, you're just inundated with. It seems like there's an insurance agency every block, and when my business was kind of declining, or when I was just getting started, I'm like, what can I do to set myself apart? And one of my mentors said that go live. People love to see how genuine you are, when you bring value to folks. And he said, if you go live, make it fun, make the content fun, and instead of you reaching out to people, people will reach out to you. So that's been my biggest success when it's come to that, is like you and I were talking about before you hit record. For those of you that are aspiring business owners or entrepreneurs, salespeople, to quote Sean Cannell from Think Media, you can look him up on YouTube. It's punch fear in the face and hit record. And ever since I did that, my business has changed. Me as a person has changed. I've always been more of an introverted person, and now look at me. I'm doing live videos and interviews and stuff like this, and I never thought that I would ever be doing that. So, and all of them have not only helped me come out of my shell as a person, but also obviously my business has increased as well. So it's been a very valuable asset.
Excellent. Okay. I enjoy that. And yeah, when we initially had the conversation a couple weeks ago, I was really thrilled with your insurance live podcaster like show, because I just like and appreciate working smarter, efficiently, and innovative. And just, yeah, that's just
Smarter, not harder, right?
True innovation, because not too many people do that. So what did you say?
I said smarter, not harder.
Exactly. Smarter, not harder. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then enjoy innovation, because that's life. I love that. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So I really enjoy like the piece that you show excellence, like with your insurance, and then your show, and then reaching out to the public with that. And then also with your podcast. Do you want to tell me a little bit about the history of your podcast, what you do,
Sure.
Kind of like where you're going? Like you have the questions too. So I'll let you kind of hit the questions how you in the order you'd like to.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I also have a sports talk podcast, and that's kind of my, I'm an insurance agent by day, a podcaster by night. But it started out with a friend of mine, Kyle, and we would my girlfriend, him and his girlfriend at the time, now they're married. We would meet at a local bar and hang out and have drinks, and the girls would go talk their stuff. Kyle and I would talk about what's happening in since the last week, the last 2 weeks that we talked, and we him-hawed around the idea of putting together a podcast. And like I said, it was 2 years ago. Last week was our anniversary, and before that, the weather was crappy, and I couldn't even get out of my driveway. So obviously, this is before all of us working from home and stuff like that. And I just took the day and researched about how to start a podcast. And I came the very next weekend, him and I met, and I put together 3 options as far as gear is concerned. And we chose which avenue we wanted to go down. And it's been 2 years ever since. And I use the podcast as it's twofold. One obviously is to the pie in the sky dream is to do it full time and get syndicated. But there's a million sports talk podcasts. And will it happen? Who knows? But during that time where we aren't getting in front of the right people, we're just having fun with it. Second fold is it's kind of a play off of what I do for my insurance business. What most people think about is the picture of an insurance agent is, kind of be frank, and I'm not insulting anybody, but an older person. It's true that the average age of an insurance agent is 56 years old. I'm not 56, and I'm quite a bit younger than that. And what I'm trying to do with the podcast is to show, and I promote both of them equally on an entrepreneurial page on Facebook. And the reason I do it that way is to show another side of an insurance agent, that we're not all just stuffy. Some people think we're one step above a used car salesman. That's not really the case with me, but just to show that other side. And I tell you what, getting back to people buy from people they know, like, and trust. You see this Notre Dame hoodie. There's a Notre Dame flag over there.
Wow.
I get equally. Hold on. I get equally amount of supporters that are Notre Dame fans, as well, that aren't. So it's twofold, and it opens up a conversation. And
Okay.
whether you're a Notre Dame fan, you're a Michigan fan, Michigan State fan, or baseball is coming around. I'm a huge Red Sox fan. If you're a Yankee fan, obviously we're going to have a differing perspective of the game, but it opens up a conversation. And then I use that to, once the conversation gets rolling, they look on my profile or whatever, and they see that I'm an insurance agent, and then they reach out to me when they're looking for insurance. So it's something that works in the background, and I get to talk about sports, and I'm never salesy. I'm never like, hey, it's good to see you're a Notre Dame fan. Anytime you want insurance, let me know. That's not my gig. I want people to know, like, and trust me, and then search me out. And it's kind of when it comes to the Sports Talk podcast, and I didn't even mention the name of it, it's the Turbo and 2K show. And if you want to listen to that anywhere that you consume your podcast materials, just search Turbo and 2K show. Or if you want to look us up on YouTube, because we do live stream our show every Sunday, it's youtube.com/turbo and the number 2Ks. My co-host name is Kyle Kaler, so 2K is kind of sounds baseballish, so that's why we went with that. But yeah, so it's an outlet to talk about something I'm passionate about, and on the other hand, sneakily behind the scenes, I use it for my business as well.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, to promote that. Okay. Um, okay. And okay. Uh yeah, and like you said, you've had like 107, like, or this week will be your 107th podcast.
Either 107 or 108. I
Okay.
can't remember which one, but yeah.
Nice. Okay. And then you've shared like your links and all that. Okay.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about your closing phrase on your podcast. I
Well,
enjoy that. It's kind of like, it reminded me of Jimmy Kimmel when he's always saying something to Matt Damon. So
yeah.
but okay.
Our closing line and it's been on every all 107 or 108 episodes, and it just kind of, at the time when we, in the closing phrase is, Jim Rome, we're coming for you. And at the time that we started the podcast, Jim Rome wasn't syndicated on I think it's CBS network, or whichever network that he's on now. He was just doing podcasting, and he was the biggest sports talk podcaster at the time. So we figured, what the hell, we're aiming for Mount Everest here, and we're going to put him on blast from episode 1. So here we are, over 100 episodes deep, and we still friendly, jokingly call him out. But you never know. One day he might, one of his people might listen to that, and he'll bring us on the show. Who knows? But
Yeah.
it's just one of those, if you're not going to aim for greatness, why even start?
Great. Yep. Shoot for the stars. That's my motto.
Why the hell not? Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, we're not attacking him. We're not doing anything, slanderous or anything like that. We're just saying, hey, we want to be the best, and to be the best, we got to beat the best. So that was kind of our mindset going into it.
Yeah. No, I as soon as I heard that, I was thrilled with that. I love that. Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good. Okay. And then okay. What would you say, like, with all the 107 episodes you've done with your podcast, like your sports podcast, maybe what's the funniest episode or the most fun that you enjoyed?
Well, normally we go into every show with bullet points, things that we want to hit, the hot topics of the week. And, and by the way, it is a weekly show. And some of the most fun episodes that we've had have been the off the cuff, have no schedule of what we want to do. We just have fun. And normally when we go off track, that's usually when the gold hits. However, because I'm the one that produces it, so I've got to make sure to kind of wrangle us in from time to time. But there is a really good balance between sticking to the schedule and kind of wandering off a little bit. And like I said, usually when we wander off is when we strike gold, and we it, for the vast majority of the episodes, it's just us two. And now that things are getting kind of back to normal, Kyle has started to come into the studio again, which by the way is right back here. And um, otherwise, we would do it. He'd phone in, and we've had other guests that have phoned in. We've had other people in the studio, like local coaches and stuff. So we have plans to do, especially now that Kyle's back in the studio, and we do have the ability to, have a guest call in. Now we can kind of have more fun with that. But yeah, it's just been the one we do a show every now and again. We're like, screw it, let's just have fun, and it's I have a feeling when you to keep everything fresh, to keep everything just to keep us engaged is something we have to do from time to time. Otherwise, especially when there's lulls in the sports season where we just gotta do what we gotta do, and especially when there wasn't any sports for there for a while. We never missed I think we've missed one episode in over 2 years, and it was a family emergency. So, um, even through the sports lockdown, we had, we kind of ventured off into more. Um, we had a few episodes in there where we talked about sports cards, where Kyle and I had gotten back into collecting sports cards, and had a couple of our buddies over that had been collecting for years where we had stopped. So um that those were some fun episodes too, because we got to reminisce about how, when we were kids, the cards that we collected, and then most of us went to college and kind of dropped the hobby. And now that we're adults, and we're not having to shovel snow to go buy packs of cards, uh how we're treating the hobby now, and even the vast changes in the hobby since we were kids. So those are kind of fun as well.
Excellent. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So those are fun episodes. And then I've listened into like 2 of your episodes, I believe, like your Super Bowl one, like pre-Super Bowl conversation, and then I listened.
You mean where our picks were totally wrong, which that's something when you follow if you follow the podcast for a while, once we jump on a team or a player, bet against that, because we have a history of just putting bad juju on folks, and I can't tell you what it is about it, but it's been our track record where I'd say 75% of the time when we tell you to, it's our stone cold lock bet of the week, bet against it, because 9 times out of 10 you're gonna win, because we put bad juju on people. So
okay. I thought it was entertaining. I liked how you broke down the Super Bowl game and all the over unders, and it was a good listen. Like, I enjoyed listening to your Super Bowl show. Then yesterday I listened to your go ahead. What?
I was gonna say,
okay.
When we get like our people that comment the most, and that are our true followers, love the fact that we're not screaming at each other like other even like sports talk show on TV, on the radio. They're screaming at each other. They're, oh my God, I can't believe that, you're so stupid. We take our amateur perspective and just give it to you. And most of the folks that have followed us from day one, they love how genuine we are. We'll tell you right out the gate, we're flying from the seat of our pants. I mean, from there, I watched YouTube videos on how to set up a podcast. I'll be 100% honest. Did we make all the right moves? Nope. If I had to do over again, would I do it differently? Yep. But then again, punching fear in the face and hitting record, we just wanted to do it. So we did it our way. Was it the right way? Who knows? But most people that love us and love the videos that we do on, on our YouTube channel, which there is some stuff on the YouTube channel that is not on our podcast channel. So, um, but all of our content all the way around, everyone loves how genuine we are. They love the chemistry between the two of us. And like I said, we're not the yelling and screaming guys that think they need to do that. So it does separate us a little bit. And for me, because the reason we do it that way is I can't stand listening to certain sports talk, personalities just sit there and scream at each other all day. I can't handle it. So
Yeah,
we
I
decided
can
right out the gate that we're not going to do that.
Yeah. What's the one on ESPN? And I think it's on ESPN. They do that, and it's one of the shows. But like, yeah,
First Take. I mean, and
yeah. I come home, my husband's listening to it, and it's just like, wow, like it just raises your blood pressure. They're just screaming at each other. It's different.
Stephen A. Smith is my kryptonite. I can't handle him.
Yeah, yeah. No, you guys are kind of addicting and just really intriguing because you're just really like humble, interesting, and then you have good takes on what you're talking about, what you're breaking down. So yeah, like the Super Bowl was a lot of fun, but then yeah, but like you're just calm and at ease and just really easy to listen to too. So it's really interesting and yeah, it's like a perfect listen. I enjoy listening to it. And then like your baseball show, like your first opening baseball show, was that this week or was that? Yep. And then
we did that one Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. But that was interesting how you're breaking down the various teams and what they're going to look like.
And that's 2K's and mine's favorite sport is baseball. So that's the one we're most passionate about. So we try not to flood the channel with all baseball, but we could talk baseball every, all 52 episodes a year. But yeah, our primary love is baseball and then football, or probably college football and then NFL football, because we like to do fantasy football and stuff like that. And we've got a group on Facebook that's our 2K crew. It's kind of our fan group page. Okay. And we do this was our second year doing a fantasy football challenge. So those are always kind of neat. We're doing a fantasy basketball one right now, and I'll be the first one to admit basketball is not my thing. So my team is horrible. I don't think I've won. I pretty much stopped updating it. So not really sure how I'm doing. So if 2K crew, if any one of you lost to me in our fantasy basketball league, you are horrible, because like I said, I haven't updated it in months.
What about, do you do a March Madness thing, like bracket?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There will be well, fingers crossed that we get a March Madness this year. But yeah, we usually always do one, and that even goes back prior to my bartending days. I used to always run off site. Don't want to get anybody in trouble. Off site
right.
Brackets and stuff like that. So I've got a group of guys that pretty much send me money and whatever challenges and brackets and everything. They just tell me to give them a spot, and so they don't have to PayPal me like 5 times a year. So and this has been going on for, I don't know, 10, 12 years. So
yeah. March Madness is my favorite sport, like of all. Like it's like Christmas and a whole month of it. So it's the first 2 years I won when I joined the bracket, and then I was trying to three-peat, but that didn't work out. But I've won like 6 or 7 years, so nice. I do all right. But my money this year aren't working. Like they're not like, so it's gonna have to be a little more creative this year. If like you said, hopefully they have.
You have to get in ours.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I want to talk about that more in a second. Could you reiterate, like you said, baseball is yours and 2K's favorite sport to analyze, but you said college football, NFL. What is the title again of your, because isn't it like everything sports and amateur, or like what's the title of your podcast?
The actual title is the Turbo and 2K show.
Okay.
And then kind of like our catchphrase, or kind of our subtext is our amateur take on everything sports.
That's it. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. And then real quickly, if do you want to touch on like how you and 2K met and then like you played baseball. Did you play baseball in college or
I played baseball through high school. 2K's played a little bit in college, but I've known Kyle for years and years and years and years. Um, his dad and I are good friends, and his dad used to, like I said, I going back, my dad and Kyle's dad coached because there's me. I've got a younger brother. There's Kyle. He's got a handful of brothers, and they all played baseball. Um, Kyle's dad was quite an athlete in his day. He's still got a lot of records still at Marcellus High School, and so we met years. I mean, probably Kyle was probably 5 or 6 when we actually met.
okay.
But as far as reconnecting years later, was through his dad used to come have dinner at the restaurant that I used to work at, and him and I would shoot the shit. And once Kyle became 21, obviously he came with his dad, so that's when him and I started, our relationship now. And then, like I said, once I got out from behind the bar and started actually partaking, that's when everything got really really cool.
Awesome. Okay.
So yeah, it's been ongoing since Kyle was like 5, just in different stages.
Great. Yeah. Growing up together. Okay. Excellent. All right. I think we've talked a lot about, like insurance podcasts. Is there anything else like I know you kind of touched briefly on like your goal, like trying to go as big as you want, or as big as you're able, far as the podcast grows. Anything you want to talk about that or like your buy you a beer or coffee kind of thing like where you can support your
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I think that'd be a good place to wrap things up and kind of put a bow on it. But uh, one of the guys I follow online, because when you're a creator, I mean, yes, we do it for the passion. We do it because we enjoy it. We do it as, some do it as a stress outlet. However, stuff costs money. And, everybody thinks insurance agents are made out of gold. Not this one. I'll tell you that
Right.
much.
Nah.
But I mean, as far as the podcast is concerned, there's monthly hosting fees because what you do, how your podcast gets released is you record the audio and then you upload the audio. Obviously you do audio fancy edits, or most people do fancy edits. We don't do, I don't edit hardly anything because I like everything uncut. I like everything raw. If it happens, it happens. I mean, there's been certain times where, like if we have equipment failure or we need to reboot something, then yes, by all means. But there's certain creators that every time they say or and or sniffle or they go through and they have an hour long podcast that takes them 4 or 5 hours to edit. It takes me 2 minutes to edit ours, but that's just the way I like to create. But getting back to what I was saying is then you upload it to a server and this server hosts that audio, and there's a whole different, there's many different ones. Some of them charge more than others, some of them are free. However, the ones that are free, there's a reason why they're free. But the server we use, his name is Libsyn, Libsyn. Not that anyone really needs to know that, but it's just one of the services that are out there. Another one is Buzzsprout, and what they do is they host your audio file every so often, and it's different between Spotify, Apple Music, all the big ones, iHeartRadio. They'll ping each one of these servers, and if there's anything new, they grab it. And it's the host's duty to make sure that those get out. So I'm not uploading my podcast to Apple Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher. I mean, pretty much anywhere that you consume podcast material, we're there. So it's the host's responsibility to get the shows out to the where you consume them. So you pay a storage fee, and then there's fees associated with it. So that's a monthly fee. The mics, the mixers, all the gear. So it can be taxing, but we've had a Patreon for I think the whole time that we've been a podcast. And what Patreon is, it's a monthly subscription, and me as the creator can give extra stuff to my Patreon members because they're paying me monthly for, to support the channel. So one of the guys that I follow, he's like, he put a different spin on it. And what he did was, it's buydavidataco.com. And what that does, it's a link that when you enter it, takes you to another service called buymeacoffee.com. And what Buy Me a Coffee does, it's similar to Patreon, where you can have monthly memberships, or if you're just like, what the heck, Turbo, that was a really, really cool episode, I'm going to go buy you a coffee, and it's $5. You can do it however many times you want. Like I said, if you want to set it up for an annual subscription, monthly subscription, or just buy a coffee whenever you want. But I don't like coffee. Kyle doesn't like coffee. So I piggybacked his idea, and it's buyturbobeer.com. So if you go to www.buyturbobeer.com, it will forward you to our buy you a coffee site. And I will tell you that in the first week of Buy Turbo a Beer, we had more donations, or we had more income from that than our entire time on Patreon. So it's been a huge success, and it's just more fun. It's just more fun. And for me, like I said, I always feel weird asking people for money, but when you're in the middle of a podcast and you're like, hey, if you guys are liking this, let's have some more fun. And on top of that, it'll come through on my phone, so I can give them a mention right live. And for those ones that we miss or go through the week, we usually start off the show now with mentioning, obviously the people that gave us support, because we want to give them a shout out and make them feel special. And, I'll be like, hey, everyone, if you're getting entertainment or value, drop a like, go to buyturbobeer.com, and we'll feature you on the show. For me, that's a little easier as a host and a producer to, instead of, hey, can you go to this link and give me your money, which the salesman part of me wants to do that, but I know it's as far as our community is concerned, that's a little bit more, a little crass than I want to go to. So, but yeah, www.buyturbobeer.com, and the page is kind of cool, and it's a little bit more relaxed, I guess, when it comes to that. So, David Foster, big shout out, and thank you for the idea, because it's been wonderful.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you for saying yes to the Peak interview. You've definitely shown
It was my pleasure.
Excellence and kindness with insurance and sports podcast. So wanted to honor you in the Peak interview series. And I'm definitely thankful for all your kindness with reaching out and connecting and collaborating with businesses. And then if you want to close out this interview with your closing outline of your podcast.
Certainly.
Okay. But thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It was it has been my absolute pleasure to chat with you. I'm an open book, so if anyone needs to or wants to contact me, the best way to do it is facebook.com/RyanTurboJackson, and drop me a message or whatever on there, or check out any of my videos. I mean, there's a ton of insurance related knowledge on there, so kind of use it as a resource if you want to. And there's a YouTube channel coming shortly, so keep an eye out for that as well. Okay. But yeah, as always, Jim Rome, we're coming for you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ryan.
You're more than welcome.
Talk to you soon.
Alrighty, sounds good. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you.